Hey guys, welcome to the Ramp Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. These podcasts are all about challenging you to grow closer to the Lord.
Hey everybody, this is Josh Hollingsworth. This is the Ramp Ministries. I'm one of the senior leaders of the Ramp Ministries and the director of the Ramp School of Ministry here. And I have a very wonderful guest with me that I am very excited about. This is Perry Stone in the house here at the Ramp, which has been fantastic. You
teaching the intensive, which we've been doing this year.
Yes.
And it's wonderful. I'm really serious. It's refreshing to me because the receptivity, you know, and we dig pretty deep at times in Scripture. And
we go there.
No, really.
We go there.
And if you've never been to Ramp School of Ministry, you won't understand it, but it's amazing because what I love is the kids get it.
Yes, they do.
You can preach a similar word in a church and someone will say, Mabel, did you get that, Mabel? But these kids really, and then when they get it, it's like, and here's what I love. Okay, most classrooms where there is a Bible college or Bible school, you take your notes, and if it's a wow moment, you don't get a wow. It's like, because you don't express yourself. Here, what I love, you got the big classroom setting. Everybody's got their notebooks out. Everybody's, your expression, leaning in. And when they really get it, it's like any kid can say, whoa, and nobody says anything.
Come on.
That's what I love the most. And then when they really get it, I've seen them all jump on their feet and start clapping. And it's like, oh, this is the greatest ministry school in the world because it doesn't have that tight, overly academic, I don't want to say the word pressure, but presence. It has a good mix where you're really learning, but you have the freedom of the Spirit at any moment for the Spirit of God to do what He wants to do.
That's true.
Every kid out there watching, you just need to come here and get your foundation study for at least a year. No, at least a year.
At least a year.
At least a year of getting foundation before you go out into the world, before you go into the more, because you can get so beat up by the unbelievers of this world and the culture and the counterculture and all that's out there. And if you don't have the proper foundation, you will be overwhelmed because you don't have a way to answer the criticism. And so Ramp School of Ministry, and I'm so glad, you have no idea how happy I am to be a part because the Lord told me the reason OCI was built from scratch, that big building, was He said, father a generation. I didn't know what that looked like. I was a biological dad. And so at OCI, honestly, we started doing Warrior Fest, and I thought, well, maybe this is it. But I knew it wasn't the word the Lord gave me because I wasn't doing I was doing preaching with spiritual results, but I wasn't feeling that fatherly thing. So then I tried it with some of our young people, and it just didn't, it didn't connect for me. Then when Karen asked me, she said, I feel led that you should come here. We both knew after the first session, this is what the Lord has spoke to me about, that this is really the taking of 46 years, pouring into them. Because here's the thing, the greatest lesson you will learn is learn other people's lessons of the good and the bad and do the good and avoid the problem. Learn your lesson the first time. And when you have, as Karen has mature ministers, whether it's myself or, I don't want to go through the list, but you have a lot of guests here. You're gleaning from all of their experience, whether it was things they dealt with people that were people problems, personal things they had to deal with in their own life, their prayer life, their walk with God. You learn from them. And one of the things I did when I was called to preach is my father had a filing cabinet with not all, let me retract, many of the articles in A.A. Allen's magazine, Jack Cole's magazine, Oral Roberts magazine. I have a file cabinet to this day that stacks and stacks and stacks of articles. That was my little Bible school when I was 16, 17, and 18 years of age at home. And I learned something from studying the lives of the healing evangelists. And I learned that they never rested, in which that was a problem with me, actually, that I've encountered the past couple of years. And God has helped me to do much better. But they never rested. They preached long, which I was doing 8-week revivals, 10-week revivals. I told the school today, 16 weeks every night, which almost did me in.
He taught today.
About that. And I started realizing that some of them got to the point where they couldn't sleep. Now, this actually happened. And there was a few of the liberal preachers back then that said, you just need a little bit of alcohol. Take a little wine, you'll sleep better. And two of these men became total alcoholics and literally lost all the anointing and everything they had.
Wow.
And so I started studying that at 17 and 18. And so I said to myself, I want to try to learn from my elders and these early men who were great men of God. Some of these men had weaknesses, but it didn't take away from that they were still called of God, even though they had to battle through their problems.
Oh, they're extraordinary gifts.
Yeah. And so they battled through their problems. But see, another thing you learn is you learn from other people's battles. And my battle, honestly, when I started preaching, I didn't know till years later. And I don't brag on this, or I don't hide it either. But I have a little bit of autism, which I can do this. I can preach. I can pray for 1,000 people. Well, probably not now, but the day. But if you put me in a group of people I don't know, you'll never hear me talk or say a word. I don't say a peep. I'm awkward with strangers. Never understood it. And I would have to go to new churches, and I would go through a depression of going to a place I didn't know anybody for years.
Wow.
And so we found out later it's a little bit of the Asperger autism. There's different spectrums of that. We're not extreme. I can function, but I'm very uncomfortable, intense. And like when people come to my house, and this is really funny, all my wife's family comes in, I go to my bedroom with my laptop, and I type a beautiful sitting area, and I watch football game, and they never see me. And Pam knows that I'm not offended to anybody in the family. She knows. Perry does his thing. And so when we have a party of our staff, we'll eat and and they're going to start playing games. Hey, I'm not interested. See you later. If y'all are staying up with me, I'm better. And they know me. That's Perry. Let him go. He's cool. And it's something that there's a part of me that I'm happy with. I'm fine. But there's a part of me that I look at other guys and say, man, my brother can talk to a tree. He'll argue with a stop sign and say you're in the wrong place. He is incredible with talking to anybody. He never meets a stranger. Me, if I prefer just to sit back and in a corner, not even let anybody know I'm there. And it's just a personality trait. It's something you're born that way. God has helped you, but still yet, I learned through other ministers. So my point is that Ramp School is not just about academics and getting that higher level of teaching, not a Sunday school class, but that higher level. It's about foundation. It's about spirituality. It's about how to walk in the Spirit. And we have, oh man, I feel this. We have to have a generation that spearheads the last revival on the earth.
Come on, talk about it.
There's no doubt that Karen's ministry, and I believe our ministry, a part of it. Everybody that knows me knows that we're known for prophecy. I don't really like to be attached to a particular thing and then put you in a box. But they know that when major things happen, people say all the time, "We call him Perry today. What does he say?" It's just because I've seen things before they happened, predicted it, talked about it, and it happened. Bizarre things that happened. So because of that, people tend to say, when something major, Middle East war, or whatever it might be, happens, and the Lord has given me a gift, a prophetic gift to where, let me try to explain this, where I don't see like a vision. I'm not sitting here saying, I just saw a vision of this, but He gives me an inspiration, inspiration into the realm of revelation to just know the times. It's like Karen said, the sons of Issachar. They were men of understanding that knew the times. So it's like I can sit, and it's a gift from the Lord. It's not me. It is a gift from the Lord. But I can sit through something, and I can see the inside. I can see what's behind. I can see what is the strategy. And I've always been able to do that, but it's really increased lately greater. And I believe the reason that it has is people need answers. Man, people are saying, what's the COVID thing? Will we ever get over it? What's the economic situation? The other day, true story, they sent me a picture in one of the European countries where they're saying your health chip passport is now going to be inserted in your hand.
Remember you mentioned that.
And it's then you say, now I don't believe this is the mark of the beast, but I'm saying it's a precursor. So we always wanted to know, how will they try to make everybody take something. Well, when you've got something like this that keeps ongoing, ongoing, you know, we got to have another booster, got to have another booster, got to have another. They're talking about 8 to 10 boosters, you know. Now, there's conspiracies that those companies want money. I'm out of the argument. I'm not going to argue because it's too sensitive right now with people that have had this and, you know, vax or not vax. It's too sensitive for me to even go there, and I'm not going to do that. But the situation is people don't know, and we have to have wisdom with the sons of Issachar. And so the young people, what I would like to say to any of the young people watching, if I had a one word that's kind of burning right now in my spirit to tell you, we have Ramp Cleveland. Ramp Cleveland, as you know, and the story behind that's really cool. The Lord,
it is awesome.
I literally was physically dying. I was under spiritual attack and just so many things. It's like the enemy picked the perfect time to just nail me. And I was praying and I said, Lord, I don't think I can do this. I mean, I can preach, but I'm helping run ISO, a Bible school. I'm helping a Thursday night prayer. You know, I was doing a complete commentary on the Bible. 150 messages a year, 40 messages for Israel. And I had just, it's really weird because the burnout happened. I felt it, and then it pounded me. It hit that quick. Then all these combination of other weird circumstances. And I knew, so the Lord spoke to me. I was in Princeton, West Virginia, I think. It was the border. It was West Virginia or Kentucky. But we were traveling, and I had a young preacher with me who now is here, Jake. Jake, him and Amanda were friends at that time. They're still friends. But
Thankfully,
we won't go there, okay? Because I'm Dad, and that's what Amanda will do. That's my daughter, by the way. So he was with me, and I'm sitting there, and I said, God, I don't know what to do. And he said to me, literally like that, let Karen have your building for the ramp. You know that I sent her there for a while, and she had no facility. And I got so excited, I jumped up. Now, this is a grown man, and did flips on the bed. Jake is looking at me. I'm just jumping. I mean, my head's about to hit the ceiling. I'm rolling over, and I'm screaming, and I'm running in the room. And he said, what? I said, I can't tell you. Oh, come on, man. What's going on? I can't tell. Jake, I promise you I can't tell you. And then I called Karen. She said, Perry, that's a big, you know, burden and call. Let me pray about it. I said, I've already prayed. You don't have to pray. But if you want to pray, you can pray. You're supposed to do this. I told her that.
Come on.
I didn't tell Karen Whitten, Queen, you don't have to pray. The woman of God's a prayer warrior. So they accepted it in June. They accepted it when COVID was hitting. They accepted it with a lot of circumstances and changes on staff and just so much going on. And yet Sam and Lauren came up, and Sam and Lauren, very gentle spirit. He's bold. He's bold, but he's got that gentleness. And Lauren, if you don't like Lauren, it's like not liking Karen Wheaton or Pam Stone. You have lost your mind.
You've lost your mind.
No, it's
impossible.
Forget it. Just bury yourself, okay? Because you're done. Sweet spirit. And they came in, and for about a year and a half, they've stepped in and done a great work and held that thing together. And we've got probably 225 to 325 people that are part of fellowship that hung in there with us and with the ramp. And now God has directed her, and I guess I can share this, that she wants Sam and Lauren to come back to help. You know, the school is growing. The ministry is going in different directions. It's expanding. It's expanding.
Yeah.
And she needs help from experienced people that know the ramp. So instead of getting someone that knows nothing, there you go. And they know this ministry. And she's allowed and prayed about it. And Dr. Cutshaw,
awesome.
who is that? This is one of my, not only is he a great friend, he's on my board, but this man has trained 20,000 ministers, church trainer. And when preachers have problems, he's got wisdom, he's anointed to preach, he's got every message is full of content, blow you away in the messages. So he's going to direct. It's not a pastor thing, but he's going to direct and train our people to be the leaders over the youth, over the married couples, and we're very excited because we felt, and Karen and I both felt, and Rick, that we needed to go into a direction because so many people consider that their church.
That's true.
We're not a church in a traditional sense, but yet we are true. In that. There's people, that's their service, that's their prayer meeting, that's where their kids attend. And we began to talk and say, if we just make this about going to church, we're going to limit helping people that want to be here. and
right.
want to be involved.
That's
so
right.
why should we be sending them all over the place to places they're not called to when they feel called here?
Yeah.
And so we had this discussion. Everybody went into prayer. And so I just want to tell you, our people, they're excited they really are sad that Sam and Lauren have left. Seriously, they just left. I got to come up people like,
how can you not?
God. They're like, this is like my family. That's like my brother. That's like they love her. But at the same time, when they heard Dr. Cutshaw was coming, they gave a standing a roar. I mean, they just stood to their feet for I don't even know how long.
He's strong.
And I was so excited. Not because we have a friendship, because we have a friendship with Karen. We have a friendship with Sam and Lauren. Because I know we're about to expand. Mm-hmm. So it's not going to be just a place where there's conferences and volunteers and prayer meetings. Yeah. We're getting ready to expand. So here in Hamilton, and you can see it all over. I mean, you can feel. Let me tell you, if someone who's a very wealthy business person would really lay the money on Karen to do what she wanted and get her some dorms built, I've told her, you'd run
Very
500. True. You'd have 1,000 kids here.
Oh,
because this is, now look, I am from a place that has a university that's Christian-based. Okay, and I'm going to be careful here.
Yes.
But one of their professors was on a plane telling a girl that he was an atheist. Now, how do you have a professor connected with religion who has looked at an unsaved girl? Oh, I've heard that's a Christian school. Well, it is, but I'm an atheist. And one of my workers is sitting next to the guy, and it's blowing this kid away. He's a kid.
Yeah.
He said, do we really have? And I said, when you go from college to university, it is a known fact that, how they hire, that you don't always vet people according to certain, how you believe.
Yep.
You vet them by their education. You vet them by, and I had a very well-known minister in town tell me years ago, he said, I hate to tell you this, Perry, but one of our teachers, and I'm not saying the school believes this. The school's a great school. The guy over it now is awesome.
Yes.
Mark is awesome.
Yes.
Great church pastor now. I mean, there's some great kids there.
Yes.
But my point was him saying, it shocked me when one of the ministers over theology taught there was no hell. Come on.
Whoa.
So what I'm saying is, it is absolutely not a general thing that people believe. Yeah. But you have those leaders, and leaders have to be. These are young people following teaching. And so that's why I love the Ramp too, not to try to compare it, because every great ORU's great school, Lee's great. I mean, there's great schools.
Yes.
But the thing I love here is it's going to be focused on truth.
That's
We're not going to preach craziness.
That's right. Come on.
Heaven is real. Hell is real.
That's right.
Jesus is coming.
Yes.
We're not going to get into dominion theology and replacement theology. We'll teach you what it teaches to counter it.
That's right.
But we're not going to go there and try to tell these kids, something that's not there in the Word just because we don't want to believe it. That does not work that way.
Yeah.
And so I'm summing it up. My daughter's here, third year.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm just going to tell you, I don't know if I'm going to ever get her back home.
She is wonderful. We do love her very much.
Amanda is she's like the, what do you call it, little queen of ramp kids or something. I mean, she's the Pied Piper. I would say this. She would never even tell people she was my daughter, because she says, I don't want nobody liking me because of you. So I thought, well, thank you. I appreciate the feeling. We'll share that together. But I understood it, because she didn't want people to say, "Oh, you're Perry Stone's daughter," and then make them feel like, "Hey, I know Perry Stone's daughter." And kids will do that. I mean, I've been around. Yeah. And so she would never tell them. She would just tell them her first name. She never. It was funny for a couple of months, and I came to preach, and I said, "Man, it's so good to see my daughter, Amanda." And the kids went.
I remember.
She just did this. She went like this. She just shook her head. But boy, does she ever love this place.
Yeah.
I mean, and Miss Karen, she loves Miss Karen.
Yeah. So, and she's done fantastic. I mean, she is awesome.
And she
preaching, teaching.
Oh, she can preach. I let her preach at Warrior Fest, and she got up before me. She has a great spirit. I tell you what I love about her.
She does.
Is she loves the people that are underdogs.
That's very true.
The expression. If she sees a kid by themselves in the mill house, she'll just walk, "Hey, how are you?" And she is for those who, boy, she's for those who have had a hard time in life, who feel less fortunate or have been rejected. And man, she's always been that way. One time, a man came up to us, and I'll never forget this. And we were in a small town, and it was a beachfront town, and we went down there to hang out. And as I'm driving out, you see a guy, and he's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And he wants money. He wants money. And he's going from place to place asking for it. Well, he was in a couple cars in front, and I kind of went around. She says, "Dad, why didn't you wait for that man?" This is Amanda. I said, "Well, baby, I know he's an alcoholic, and I want, I'd pray for him, but I'm not going to give him money to help his addiction." And oh my gosh, she put me under conviction. She says, "Dad, what if you could have won him to the Lord and helped him?"
Wow.
Brother, I maybe even went back after that. I don't remember. But that's how she is.
She's got that lens of Jesus on her eyes, the way she sees.
Everything is how would Jesus look at this, honestly. That's how she lives her life. That's awesome. She doesn't like gossip. She doesn't like... we've had some very serious mistreatment from some people, which has happened from your whole ministry, And she will say, "Dad, you just need to forgive him and pray for him." And she means it. And I'm like... "Where's my Uncle Vinny when I need him?" And that's an Italian joke. Please don't take me serious. And because I'm Italian. But, your flesh. Come on, look at me. You've been there.
Oh,
it's just like...
You deal with people
in
ministry.
Why don't God just... they're probably going to never pay attention to anything in the Word. So why are they here? And that's how the flesh thinks. And then you have to correct yourself. But my daughter helps balance me, and I'm being serious here, and my wife does too. But she helps balance me because she always says to me, she shows it to me of how the Lord would be thinking about it.
Yeah.
Even dealing with people that are just really difficult, or maybe they're saying things that are not true because they're hurt and they want to attack you, or half-truths, or whatever the case may be. And you're saying, "Boy, I've got some good lawyers." And her, she'll come and say, "Dad, I don't think that's the way. What about when they called Jesus a demon? Did he sue him?" Just like, Amanda, please don't preach to me now. I don't want you to tell me this. That's how she thinks. Well, she said you just have to love him. So I don't want to spend all my time talking about that. But the school has helped her, is my point. When she came here, she was a good girl, but she needed huge foundation. Everything she does now is based on operating what the Word says and what she knows in the Word.
Yep.
Now, that's what Ramp does. And if parents are watching or kids are watching, I want to encourage you. I really do. And I'm not, he didn't ask me to say, nobody's asked me to say this. I'm saying this from my heart. We get to come down. We try to come once a month. Sometime we may have to miss them, but we try to come once a month to do an intensive. Some of them last a week almost.
That's right.
So I will be here teaching at Ramp School, all right, Lord willing. Yeah. And I don't want you to come just because of that, or because you get to meet Karen, or because of the music is great. I want you to come to say, you know what? I need to give God at least 12 months of my life. Now you can stay 2 years.
Yeah.
But I want to give God 12 months of my life to build a foundation in me that can't be moved.
Come on.
So that if I end up in California, not to pick on any state, but I end up in New York or California, or I end up with a job somewhere that's a very left-leaning, and I mean this seriously, anti-God, anti-Bible, anti-Christian, I'm going to be able to stand flat-footed and say, you know what?
That's it.
You're not going to affect how I believe.
That's it.
That's what comes only through learning how to pray, the presence of God, and the power of the Word.
That's it.
Okay, I'm doing all the talking. Ask me a question. You want to ask me something?
No, that was good. That was really good. And again, we have a 2-year school, 3rd-year program with interns.
Nice mugs.
Thank you. Yeah,
no, I'm serious.
Come on.
I love what they're made out of too. They're not the normal. That's okay.
It's the camping mug a little bit.
Yeah, I like it. I'm sorry.
No, it's
you
perfect.
You said Ramp School.
No, we do, and I really do appreciate you saying that. That really does mean a lot. I thank you for that.
It's from the heart. I'm seriously.
Yeah, and
all of it.
And Amanda, of course, has made a very big impact. She's part of the platform ministry, as well as a number of other things. You have such a good relationship. Your wife Pam has such a good relationship with Karen Wheaton and
best friends,
Rick Tao.
Best friends, long time.
How did that come together? How did that connection happen? Because You mentioned this, having friends that are in these leadership positions that you're running with.
Yeah.
It's so good.
You have
it's
to
so
have
helpful. Brian Cutchaw, you talking about, who's a
Rick and
great
Karen,
friend.
Jensen Franklin. Marcus Lamb was a great. Marcus passed
Lamb.
away. Marcus was probably one of my oldest ministry friends I ever had.
Yeah.
We started preaching when we were 18. He was
That's
16. I was 16. He may have started when he was 14. He graduated from Lee before he was 19.
Wow.
The guy's a genius.
Wow.
And we got to be very dear friends. We traveled together. He would do a revival. He'd follow up. I'd follow him up in a revival. And he warned me about a girl I was going to marry and said, God told me, he called me at the girl's house.
Really?
I was visiting the girl, going to have dinner with the family. Perry, where you at? He said, I said, I'm at so-and-so's house. He said, all right. He said, can you talk? And I said, yeah. And I walked, kind of away from everybody. And he said, you're not going to marry that girl. God told me to tell you she's the wrong one. Marcus, what do you know? I'm fussing. Marcus, come on. Now, I'm like, how old was I? I was about 18, and 18 or 19, and he was, he'd be 2 years old. He's probably 20.
Wow.
I'm
That's
telling
still
you,
pretty big.
I've been praying for you.
That young.
He said,
Yeah.
you better break up with her. Well, I did, 2 months later, and the next week I met Pam, who I married.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
I will credit Marcus forever
Really?
for giving me that phone call. Because it put me in the direction of the actual woman that I was supposed to marry. And I didn't know, isn't that crazy? Because sometimes when you're in that situation and you feel like you're in love, it takes people on the outside. And young people listen to this to see what you don't see. Because you won't see it.
Students listen to this.
No, you're blinded by your emotion, your attachment. You're blinded by it.
Yes.
And so you can't see what other people can see. So look, girls, when you got 3 of your friends who say, honey, you better get away from him, please get away from him. Because in the mouth of 2 or 3, when they see something, every word becomes established. And even with the guys, because I'm telling you, who I would have married doesn't mean she wasn't a good girl.
Yeah.
Played the piano, could sing, had a master's degree in teaching, but it would not have led me down the path. I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I have no doubt the whole path would have been different. OCI would have never been built. I have no doubt I would have lived probably back in Virginia in a whole nother state. And I would have never fulfilled what God's assignment was.
Wow.
Isn't that neat?
That
so,
is.
God bless Marcus. If you're in heaven,
Yes.
when I get to heaven, I'm gonna hug him again and say, "Thank you, sir.
Yes.
I had a great life because you helped me get the word of the Lord." Really,
Wonderful
40
man.
years of marriage. 40 years.
And for those who don't know, Marcus Lamb, him and his wife Joni are over Daystar, and he made a massive impact in this world.
Fastest
for
growing
years.
network in the world, Christian network. He's on in Israel, and boy, I'm going to miss him really, really bad.
Yeah,
really bad. But his work carries on. His fruit remains.
Yes,
Joni's
it
a
does.
great woman. The kids, Jonathan and Rachel, the daughters they've all married, got grandbabies, and I know that I prayed for him live on TV. And, of course, they didn't have the picture of him in the hospital. They had the voice only. And I heard him say about, when he thought he was about to pass away, and he really wanted to stay. Yeah. And we don't understand those things.
Yeah.
And I could give you 3 to 4 reasons why the possibility is that he did go. But it's one of those situations where you just trust the Lord that God just knows things down the road.
He does.
And sometimes just the enemy hits and you can't. It's like one man who lost his daughter, 17-year-old daughter, in a plane crash. He was asking why, and Oral Roberts called him, and he had lost his daughter and son-in-law in a plane crash. And Oral told this man, he said, don't ask why, you'll ask why the rest of your life. And he said, just trust God. He said, man, I'm telling you, it's the hardest thing you'll ever do.
Yeah.
To not say, how come 2 people survived and his daughter and 3 others were killed? So why was his daughter? That's the question.
Yeah.
And you're going to always have questions like that. But Marcus was a great friend. Going back to Rick and Karen.
He was, yeah.
Rick and Karen, I met Rick in a revival in Daisy, Tennessee. He was the president of Southern United Oil. And I've never forgot this. And we were going to buy duplicators for our ministry, very young ministry. I was not married then. I was probably 22 years of age.
Really?
Yeah.
Long,
the revival went 8 weeks, and Rick came almost every night.
Really?
Never knew who he was. Never met him.
He's always loved the fire. Yeah.
Until he dropped a $500 check for our ministry in the offering. And the pastor said, Perry, there's one. Well, $500, if you got that in 2 weeks, that was a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, praise God, my duplicators, I can buy them. Yeah. And every time he gave to the ministry of that revival, he'd get a financial blessing at his his
company.
business.
Wow.
And so he had a dream one night. This is crazy. I don't think you've ever heard me tell this.
I don't think so.
He had a dream of seeing me, and gold rain was falling on him every time he gave me money.
Really?
And God started blessing us that every time he supported us. He gave me my first computer. He bought my first Apple computer for a mailing list.
Wow.
Brother, would I love to have that thing now? I just now thought about that. Oh my gosh, that thing's worth probably $200,000 or $300,000.
Oh yeah.
I need first Apple. Lord, help me not to get my mind on that. We could do something for the ministry. We could help Karen with some dorms if I could find that Apple.
Yeah,
it's been thrown away many years ago. Oh my goodness. We're talking about, let's see, 20, 30, 40, we're talking 40 years ago.
Really?
Oh yeah.
my
yeah.
gosh.
We're talking about the early Apple.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I can't go there. I'll find myself grieving if I keep thinking about it. All right. So, but anyway, we knew him, and he became in our board, head of our board of directors. Has been on my board ever since Pam and I were married.
Wow.
That's how long. 81. No, 82. We were married. That far back. Now, Karen. I first met Karen when she was singing with Jimmy Swaggart. She went with Jim Baker, then with Jimmy Swaggart. And we had a tent revival in Alabama here, and we wanted her to come sing. And so she came and sang. And I tell the story at OCI when Lauren got there, and I can say this because it's a lot of young people. But I said, Lauren, I said, when Lauren was a little bitty baby, and I was holding her, she did something that affected me for the rest of my life. She peed all over me, right through that diaper. It's on me. I'm like, oh, Karen, get this baby, And of course, the church cracked up, and Lauren's just sitting there shaking her head. She said, "I've already heard the story, because I guess that was the joke in the family, You peed all over Perry Stone when you were a baby. I thought she didn't like me from the start. What's the deal here?" And we made jokes about that. But we met Karen now. As most people may not be familiar with this, but Rick had a divorce. Now, his divorce was legitimate in that he was, this is how the old Pentecostals used to say, innocent party. Yes. And we're not going to say anything about what happened and the situation with his ex-wife because we know, let me just say it, from the biblical perspective, Rick could one day remarry. And I'll leave it at that. Yeah. And then there was a situation with Karen. So, again, without a respect, because we know the people. But anyways, there was a situation there. So basically, both of them had gone through the divorce, and both of them had the biblical rights, if they wanted to, that they could remarry. And and we'll leave it at that. Yeah. Okay. Well, Pam was having Karen come to the old PTL grounds for a camp meeting I was having.
Really? Now, at the old PTL grounds?
Remember, now she first sang in that barn I'm preaching in.
Get out of here. Really?
Now, you're going to love this because we haven't told this here. Wow. Now you're hearing it for the first time. So Rick was coming because he was on the board and I wanted the board there. So we rent the barn at PTL. We have, we maybe had 800, 1,000 people, which back then is great. Yeah. It's great now. So I realized, wait a minute. I know Rick's story. I know a little bit of Karen's situation. And by the way, we love the folks the former people. We love both of them. We're friends. Yes. I mean that sincerely. Yes. So there's nothing there in that area of emotions. It's, people just move on with their life under certain circumstances. Yeah. So Karen was singing, and I said, I got an idea. Pam said, what are you up to? I said, I got an idea. Now, this is awful. I recommend you not to do this. But I said, Pam, both of them could remarry under the situation. And I said, they would make a great couple. He's very spiritual. He's steadfast. Mm-hmm. He's been to hell and back, And Karen, I said, we know them both. We ought to introduce them. And she said, well, how you going to do that? I said, leave it to the master. That's what I said. Leave it to the master. What are you up to? I said, don't worry. So here's what I did. Now, this is a little bit sneaky, okay? I called Rick, and I said, Rick, you know Karen Wheaton? He said, of course I know Karen.
You were like, you know Karen Wheaton?
Yeah. I said, you know Karen. And I said like that. He said, of course I know Karen. I said, she really likes you, Rick. I've never talked to Karen about Rick. I'm speaking by faith. He said, what do you mean? I said, I think she'd be interested in going out to eat dinner with you, really. But you're gonna have to call her. He said, Perry, are you playing? I said, no, Rick, you think I'm playing with you? I'm telling you. Karen really, she's impressed with you. She's known you really for years. She knows you're a man of God. She sort of talk about you being a man of God, and I think she would like to go out to dinner with you. Then Rick's got this in his head. I call Karen. Karen, you know Rick Tapp? Oh, of course, yes, I know Rick. I said, Karen,
yes.
I don't know how to tell you this because I don't think he would. He really has always really liked you as a minister, but I really believe he wants to take you out to dinner. Oh, Perry, I don't know about that. Now, Karen, you're not carrying this. I just don't know about that. That's something I'd have to pray about. I said, why don't you just pray about it and see if you feel, because, there was a lot of wounds, there was a lot of hurt.
Yeah, and she would pray about anything.
No, she does not jump the gun. So I called him back and said, Karen wants you to call her.
You called Rick?
Yes.
Mr. Rick back.
Lord, forgive me. I knew it in her heart. Let me say it that way. I knew in her heart. She didn't say, have him call me. So anyway, they called. And oddly enough, they both accepted to go out. And, of course, the rest is history now. And so that's, come on, I call myself the matchmaker.
That's right.
But right. It's like, it is the funniest, if you really knew the whole, my TV director, without, Rick, Karen is singing. He did this. My TV director, Rick is sitting out there. He splits the screen while Karen is singing, and Rick is going, somewhere,
he's watching it.
Somewhere, we have the video.
He had a vision.
I'm telling you, somewhere,
he had a vision.
He was getting the revelation.
The beauty was sinking in.
And all of it was based on just spirituality of having a friend who's a spiritual friend that you respect.
Yeah.
Both had great respect for each other. And so we were very thrilled that the Lord allowed that to happen because
I'm very thrilled.
Yeah. And on this area of people going through things in their life challenges, and where there's changes that take place, always remember, people, when you've had it good and your home is great, all your kids are saved, your marriage is doing wonderful, always have compassion for people that are not going through the joy that you have in their situation. Always be.
Give them your empathy.
Here's why. Be compassionate, because your kids may have to go through that.
Yes.
And if your kids ever go through, you want people to love them and not condemn them or beat them down. And in the old school days, there was a lot of just, beating people down for failure and kicking them out of the ministry if they had a failure and everything. And you can't find that in Scripture.
Too much.
That was tradition. That was traditions of men. And what's sad is in some instances, some of the very men who really beat down other men ended up 2 or 3 years later with the same situation, because Jesus said, with the same judgment you judge, I'll let you be judged by it.
So true.
They have to be careful. People have to be careful.
That's exactly right. Yep. That is so true. And I'm really glad they found each other. They're obviously wonderful, both of them to me.
Here's what's funny.
Love them both to death.
Me and Pam get along as good as anybody you've ever met, but we're totally opposite. I mean, she's cleaned the house. I'm laid and Amanda does this. I shouldn't have said that. Amanda's messy like a guy. Amanda just throws her stuff down and one day decides to clean up. I'm the same way. Now, with Pam, pick that up. Perry, when did you shave? Why'd you get all the stuff on the mirror? Can you not shave without getting, guys do that when they shave. And so Pam and I have laughed that we are so opposite. I'm an adrenaline junkie. Get me on the crazy rides. She will never get on one. Okay, she
really?
has to have the house clean. I'll keep the dishes dirty for a month. I actually put dishes and just lay them in there, and finally, 2 weeks later, I call a secretary. Hey, can you come over here in the office and get these dishes? That's just me, though. She enjoys talking and fellowshipping. I just assume be by myself. Opposites attract, because opposites balance each other.
That's very true.
That's why you're not going to be attracted to someone who's just like you. And people don't understand that. You've got to have a balance. I've got to have the woman to say, Pam, please call them for me. So I don't have to. And she will. I've got to be there to say, now, Pam, you're planning this, but have you thought of, I'm the visionary, this, and this. And I'm giving her things she hadn't thought of. Okay, you're booking that, but have you thought about that's the weekend of this holiday? You're doing that, but have you? So at first she would say, why are you so negative to my plans? I said, honey, think about what I'm doing. I'm the balance. You know how to put you got the plan. But I'm out here saying, okay, how does this work? And so Rick and Karen, Karen's the visionary.
Oh, yeah.
Let me just say.
Oh, yeah.
You give Karen $100, she's going to buy something in this town.
Oh, yeah. She's seen it by faith and more.
I've never seen.
Yeah.
I mean, she'll walk past a piece of land and say, "Ooh, I can see that there. Can you see that there?" You know.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're talking dorms on the property. I said, "Karen, I can see dorms." She said, "Oh, I come out here and I can see them too. God's going to get, visionary."
Oh, yeah.
And Rick is sitting over here going, "See how much that vision's going to cost?" I mean,
oh, yeah. He's probably calculated in his head by the time he got to the car.
He's got it figured out. And so you have to have both the visionary and the practical. And I'm definitely the visionary. Pam, I have never, this is a true story. I have received checks of which I've signed my name, but I have not written a check in so long, I can't tell you how long it's been. Pam handles all checkbooks. My bookkeeper handles all ministry checkbooks. I don't have to do it.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
I told Pam when she had COVID, look, and I'm really going to embarrass myself. All I'm good for is studying, praying, and preaching. I'll just let you know. Writing books, that's it. TV pro, that's it. That's all I'm good for. I really don't know how to do the dishes. I'll just take them out and help her when they're done. I've never done laundry of my own. I have no idea how to use the laundry. Isn't this bad? You can tell my mama spoiled me before. Pam used to say, your mama spoiled you before. Oh, mama did everything for me. Okay. I'm not that great of a cook except putting something in the microwave. So if I had to cook, it'd just be, when she had the baby, when she had Jonathan, I decided to cook for her. It was awful. She actually got into bed after having the baby. She said, "I got to finish this. You don't know what you're doing." This is so funny of a story. All right. When she had COVID real bad. And, she laid in the hospital and the devil would say, "Well, you've lost a couple of preachers. What makes you different?" I mean, her oxygen was just really getting low.
Horrible. Yeah.
It's a horrible thing.
Yeah.
And I said to the Lord, let me tell you something. Don't plan on her passing, or you better take me. Because I am not going to try to stay here without this. I just want you to know, I will not stay here without my wife. Because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I've got to. I told the Lord, I've got to have her. There ain't no option B and C. I don't know anybody I've ever met even close to this one. Are you kidding me? No way.
Yes.
There's no way. And then God touched her, thankfully. And she's a trooper. And if anybody that works with her and knows her, she is the absolute real deal. And I want to say this: there are many really godly women. My wife, if one cuss word, and I'm not one that wants cuss words either in a movie. Trust me, I don't like them. But if she hears one thing, it's going to go off. Anything.
Yeah.
No violence. No shooting. Now honestly, I like the counter-terrorist movies.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Middle East guy.
Yeah.
So the guy's got the hood on and they're going through a thing, and she said, "What are you watching that movie? People shooting people." It's like, Pam, Perry. And I'm like, "Oh, click." So she's putting you under conviction. But everyone of you that are watching that will find a companion, more than likely, will be someone that's opposite of you. Now,
and Amanda is a great cook too. You mentioned that today.
Yeah, I don't want the guys to know that though, because there's look. I'm going to say this in humor. Look at me. Say humor. And this is just a joke with me and Pam. I said, "Pam, there are guys waiting for me to kick the bucket and go to heaven to marry you because you cook." Because everybody at OCI Ramp, everybody knows Pam Stone is one of the greatest cooks on the property. They know it. And Judy Jacobs and Karen used to come to our house before Christmas, and Pam would cook. And Karen and Judy said, "Never are we cooking and inviting you to our house." Said, "Not because we don't love you, but there's no way we can counter this.
She's good.
We can bump up to it. It's unbelievable."
Yeah, she's good, and she's sharp as a tack, as well as keeping everything in row and
another thing. Let me brag on her for a minute. Another thing about Pam is that she is a lioness. Rhonda Davis, Hank Davis's wife. Hank went to be with the Lord recently, but Rhonda has said, "Perry," I call her Pammy Poo, and that's Rhonda picked up that now. She calls her Pammy. She says, "Your Pammy is a lioness." She's real gentle when it comes to loving people, helping people, caring about people. But when she sees her family or you under an attack, or someone is attacking her unjustly, the lion comes out. And Mandy, ask Mandy and Ashley at OCI about the lion.
Come on.
They say Miss Pam is a hero to us because she will fight for what she knows is the right thing.
Come on.
And she sees contradictions in people. She sees where people say one thing, but they've said something. I mean, she just, and she doesn't try to beat people with it, but as she can. And, in the past, and if you're married and in ministry, and of course, I'll say this to you because you're married in ministry, the wife has an internal antenna that a guy really doesn't have.
That's so true.
And
so true.
We guys, when we say that, some wives will say, that's just an excuse. You're just saying, no, we really are. We're dumb. We're dumb to, and I've gone through some things where I'm super guardian. I'm like one of the most guarded persons that there are people I won't even get within 3 feet of, and I fist bump people and, I try to be very careful because people take things wrong very easily or they take your intent wrong.
Yeah.
So you try to be careful. But a wife has an antenna because she can discern the spirit in another female. She doesn't even have to look at them. She can get near them and say, better watch that one. And so in the past, my wife would, not just that, it would be different situations. And she would say, you need to be careful with this. You need to watch these people. You don't know what they're really thinking. You need to be careful that these people know too much personal information on the business. Be careful. And I told her, I said, it's so disgusting that you have been so right. I said, it's given me a complex because everything you told me actually was right.
Yeah.
And why wasn't I paying attention? And she said, you're too busy. You were in your zone. You're writing your book, you're writing the Bible commentary, and all this is going on around you, and you're not paying one bit of attention to it. And so discernment's very important, and praying and listening to wise counsel.
Having that spouse.
Not controlling people who want to control you. That's different.
Right. Yeah.
Wise people who have your best interest.
That's right.
Listen to wise people.
That's right.
Woo!
Come on.
There it
I
is.
feel that. Come
there
on.
it is. Oh.
Come on. I love it. That's good. That's good wisdom, though.
Yeah.
Very good wisdom, even on the spouse level.
Sure.
Man, I have been, I could do I can't even tell you how many podcasts with you. There's so many stories.
Oh, we got
the
it. We got the stories,
the stuff, the revelation of
Praise
the
God,
works
man.
of it. I so appreciate you so much.
I am very honored, beyond what I can say, that Karen has asked me to do this, and I mean that. And I'm going to share this with the people that's watching, and I want you to hear this very carefully. One of the things that sets Karen Wheaton apart from most ministries is Ramp builds a culture of honor.
Come on.
And I have in my own ministry had situations where people would absolutely dishonor for different reasons. The culture was dishonorable.
Wow.
The way you were treated was dishonorable. I don't want to say this. My daughter would say, "Perry, Dad, please don't say anything like that." But we invested a lot of money and time into a generation of young people and never got a thank you for it. And I don't want to go into the detail and bring that up, but never got so much of, man, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for helping us to, I told him, I said, Papa, they call him Mama K, Papa P. Papa P is Papa Perry. That's just a name. That's it. I don't tell people to call me that. That's just a name.
Yeah.
Somebody tagged with me years ago. They called Pam Mama P. And I told these young people one time, they were so disrespectful. I said, you know what Papa P is? It's Papa Pay. Because all I do is pay for y'all to get stuff done around here. They wouldn't even work money for their own trips.
Wow.
So, and I'm not going to bring up being negative because I love them. Definitely love the leadership that was over them, and still love them to this day.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that to say this, that what the Ramp has produced is a culture of honor. Karen demands that if men and women are called of God, that calling and being chosen to do a work is the most honorable work in the world.
It is.
And when you honor the minister, you're honoring the gift that God has given them. And when you stand up and thank the Lord, you're thanking the Lord. God has placed a gift of a fivefold ministry or a gift of the Spirit into the body to bless it.
That's right.
And so I just can't tell you to go through some of my stuff. Some of my stuff, it's like yours, anybody's stuff. Some of it you're bringing on yourself. Some of it's a lack of wisdom. Some of it's not listening to people. Some of it physically is you've not taken care of yourself. We can go through a list of what causes your own self-invited problems.
Yeah.
And I admit that I haven't used wisdom at times in decisions and people and taking care of myself. And people kept saying, Perry, you got to take care of yourself. Perry, you've got to pay attention, And in retrospect, it's like, oh, I am now, But that's retrospect, right? But the thing about it is to be at a place like here in Hamilton with Karen and to see how she's honored our ministry. And that, of course, they've known us a long time.
Yes.
That's another thing. They
Great
have known
friends.
us from the beginning. And it is amazing and blessing because when Jesus said it, there is no honor in your home country and hometown. That's true. Now, I have people that we love, we're close to, and I've done a lot in the town, and with business people, there's a lot of respect there. But when it comes to saying, wow, look at what God has done in the community through the ministry, you don't always get that. Now, when the hotels are full, yes, thank God, we thank God for Brother Perry, there's that side. But I want to say, and I don't keep rambling here, but I want to say I'm thankful to Karen and the Ramp and the culture. I call it the Ramp culture.
Yeah.
And how my daughter honors and will not let you talk negative about anybody. I'm not one to do that. I'm not one to do that. But if she thinks you're going there, she'll say, stop. And if Pam thinks you're going there, Pam will say, well, let us have a little talk with you. She starts singing. People looking at her and she's singing. And I know what that means. It means, shut up. When she starts singing, she'll say, hey, what's your favorite color? right in the middle of the conversation. I say, okay, I know. I need to shut up. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I do.
He that finds that kind of wife finds a good thing.
That's true. That's very true.
It is really
very true. Well, we love you here.
Oh,
we enjoy you very much.
We love.
You're teaching also again in the future in January. You'll be here.
Oh, big time.
On the full armor of God.
The book of Ephesians. Some really heavy teaching from Ephesians.
That's exciting.
They're going to understand the culture of the time, why Paul wrote that, and every piece of the armor. And we're going to go real deep in it.
Come on.
I'm going to have the illustrated pieces. I actually bought all the pieces of the Roman armor.
Come on.
So that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Woo!
I'm excited.
Can you feel it now?
Woo! Yeah, I can. Come on. Well, I mean, you've been doing prayer. We're excited about it. It's just, you've been with us for a little while now teaching so many different things. Gifts of the Spirit also as well.
That
was
was
fantastic. That was really good. That was a full week of it.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, praise
a lot of different
God.
things. So we're excited, and we appreciate you so much. And
thank you.
Everybody out there watching, please, check out whatever is coming up. We'd love to see you. It's open to the public, of course, and you can register for those intensives when he's down here teaching. We just love this man and are so grateful. I hope everyone out there is having a wonderful day and a conquering day and overcoming with the Spirit of Jesus in you. So we just bless you and we say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
We hope you've enjoyed this message from The Ramp. For more info on this message or other teachings, visit us at theramp.org/store. Connect with us for latest news on services, events, and more by following us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. God bless, and we'll see you guys next week.